Welcome to Arlington Public News. I'm Brenda Mahoney.
And I'm James Milan. Thanks for joining us.
In this edition of APN, new signals are up and running. We've got a closer look at the hows and whys of changes in Arlington Center.
And where did you sleep last night? A local documentary filmmaker takes us to the streets of Boston.
And Foodlink celebrates building connections between resources and recipients.
That and more, up next. Stay with us. Arlington police are warning residents that there's a Grinch about town this holiday season.
And the Board of Selectmen gets ready to fill Stephen Burns' empty seat. Sean Stackhouse has the details in this week's Snapshot. What's up, Sean?
Thanks, Brenda. The Arlington Police Department is asking residents to be vigilant after an uptick in house break-ins and burglaries. There have been 29 house break-ins in the last 3 months, including 5 in one night. Those incidents occurred on December 8th in East Arlington. The newest information shows 2 more just yesterday. The APD recently introduced an updated interactive crime map. Residents can track the frequency and location of incidents. You can visit the map by following the link on the Police Department webpage at arlingtonma.gov/police. Police are reminding everyone of the simple steps that can help prevent a break-in. Make sure doors and windows are closed and locked when you leave. Lock vehicles. Leave lights on timers and blinds partially open to create a lived-in look. Don't leave a spare key outside. Consider installing a lockbox on the back of your house or leave a key with your neighbor. Hide your valuables. Make sure expensive computers and electronics aren't visible through a window. Keep jewelry in unexpected places, not a dresser drawer. If you have an alarm system, use it. Especially at this time of year, make sure packages are not left in plain sight. Arrange for packages to be delivered at your work or to a neighbor or friend who is at home. And if you think your home might have been broken into, call 911 immediately and don't go inside. Report any suspicious activity in your neighborhood to the Arlington Police at 781-643-1212. And then there were 4. Selectman Stephen Burns' resignation from the board came effective on December 4th. It is now up to the remaining members of the board, along with town moderator John Leone, to fill that seat until the April town election. The board considers the qualities necessary in a replacement and how to find that person at their most recent meeting. And time is in short supply. The Town Managers Act requires the seat to be filled within 30 days of the vacancy. And with only 3 months before the next election, the board is looking for someone that can and will hit the ground running.
Ms. Mahan has suggested that this be open to all residents of the town with a stated preference for former selectmen and someone who does not intend to run for the seat in the spring.
I don't want to close it to citizens. But I'm just trying to be practical here. And as I say, the people at one point chose those former selectmen to sit in one of these seats. They're already trained. There's no question.
Yeah.
The board voted to open the seat up to all Arlington residents, with a preference going to former board members and those not interested in running in April. The Selectman's office received 7 letters of intent by the December 11th deadline. The board will review and consider applications in open meetings on Monday, December 18th. That's it for Snapshot. I'm Sean Stackhouse. Back to you, Brenda.
Thanks, Sean. How and what students will be learning in the town's first ever 6th grade only school is coming into focus. The Gibb School is on track to open for 6th graders next fall. Formerly the town's second junior high school, it most recently held various private organizations while remaining town property. It's being repurposed in order to ease crowding at the town's Addison Middle School. At a recent forum, School Superintendent Kathleen Bodie let parents know about curriculum and transportation for the estimated 460 students. Anyone living more than 2 miles away can get a taxpayer-funded school bus or get reimbursed for taking an MBTA bus. Bodie suspects some students will opt for that. If so, they could offer buses to students living under 2 miles away to pay for a school bus ride. She says they've investigated the MBTA option and say it is a good alternative to having multiple drop-offs at the school.
We talked to the MBTA to find out what their capacity is like going east on Mass Ave, and actually there's a fair amount of capacity. That's what they tell us. Now, there may be some writers in here that would disagree, but this is what they tell us, and we'll probably dig into that a little bit more.
Educators are also looking at the new school as a chance to be innovative. They will give students advisory time each morning, 20 minutes to focus on their goals for the day. Future Gibbs principal Karen DeFrancisco, who is the current principal of Hardy, said they are also adding on recess. The time for social emotional growth is something parents applauded, but wondered how the school would fit it all in. DeFrancisco said it's a fine balance, but one they feel strongly about.
We're not trying to make social emotional learning replace something else. So the classes themselves will be shorter. Between the trimester and the quarter, it may shorten some of the classes that kids get outside of their cluster, but we're balancing that with the fact that we know what we know about this age level, what we know about 11-year-olds and about 6th graders is that they need the opportunities to do the advisory piece in order to access the other things.
There are a couple of other parent forums for Gibbs scheduled in the coming months.
The latest signaling changes are up and running in Arlington Center. APN reporter Sean Stackhouse takes a closer look at why the initial design was implemented and how the changes we're seeing are part of a design evolution.
Early this week, the pedestrian hybrid beacon traffic signal at the intersection of Mass Ave and Swan Place began functioning as a traditional traffic signal. The hawk signal had been a source of confusion for drivers, pedestrians, and cyclists.
Obviously, it was confusing for some users, and it also wasn't the best fit for cyclists using the crosswalk as well. It didn't provide cyclists a very good direction when they should go and they should stay.
The original light was installed earlier this year as part of the Arlington Center Safe Travel project. Nearly 5 years of planning went into the updates.
Realizing as the Minuteman Bikeway became so popular and we're going through this incredibly busy intersection in Arlington Center, that it was certainly justified making improvements.
Part of that planning was working around the criteria for a full traffic signal in order to receive funding from the state.
Basically, you need to have a certain amount of traffic on the main street, on Mass Ave in this case, and a certain amount of traffic on the side street, Swan Place, in order for Mass DOT to justify installing a full-fledged traffic signal. And in the design process, it was thought that this intersection did not meet the criteria.
We reevaluated the criteria for putting a full traffic signal in, and when you count the amount of bicyclists that come down Swan Place to use that intersection, it then triggers the viability of putting in a full signal, making it warranted.
The light will now operate as a more familiar traffic signal and is synchronized with the lights at the Mass Ave Pleasant Street intersection. The change will cost the town roughly $20,000.
A lot of the hardware has been installed already. There was very little hardware we actually had to install. A lot of what was already installed is being repurposed for a full traffic signal, but a few different lenses had to be installed.
New pedestrian and bike crossing signals are now operating at the center's main intersection.
With this project, made the signal timings much more flexible to help move traffic a bit more efficiently, which meant that going diagonally on that left turn was no longer a good thing to do. So added the bike signals and the bike box. It's now a 2-stage crossing, a little bit less efficient, but it's an example of the trade-offs you have to make.
Scott Smith, member of the Transportation Advisory Committee and the Bicycle Advisory Committee, is optimistic about the update.
That seems to be an improvement. There'll still be some issues. There's still some stuff on the to-do list involving signs and paint, which should happen this spring when the weather becomes warm enough again. So at this point, I really have to say is, So far, so good, but we'll really understand more come spring when PAF traffic increases again.
Bicycle lanes will be updated and painting will be completed in the spring. For Arlington Public News, I'm Sean Stackhouse.
I got to tell you, Brenda, that people reacted initially with confusion and there might have been some frustration. What they're trying to do here is hard.
Yes.
So the fact that it would take more than one go, I think makes a certain amount of sense.
Exactly, and I remember at the meetings and planning of this, people having concerns over the hawk, and it never really died, and they decided the best thing was to just get rid of it.
Yep, and then probably better going forward from here, I'm sure.
Well, seeing a need and turning an idea into a reality at Arlington High School.
And a local filmmaker's intimate look at life on the street. That and more when we come back.
Hello, my name is Kylie Sullivan and I'm a health compliance officer with the Arlington Board of Health. At the Board of Health, we interpret and enforce state, federal, and local regulations pertaining to health, specifically regarding food establishments, housing issues, and nuisance complaints such as pests, odors, and noises. For more information, please visit the town website or you can give us a call at 781-316-3170.
The Arlington-based nonprofit Foodlink gathers excess food from grocery stores and restaurants that would otherwise be thrown away and shares it with 33 social service organizations. The group recently celebrated their 2017 accomplishments. The event brought together volunteers, donors, supporters, and recipients.
In the last 5 years, Foodlink rescued 1.7 million pounds of food, which represents 1.4 million meals. 19 locations donate food, including Trader Joe's and Neighborhood Farm.
The work that Foodlink does is really great, and it helps us out a lot because at the farm we're working day in and day out to produce vegetables, and we're committed to donating about 10% of what we grow. And when Foodlink is able to pick up the food that we have for donation, they're able to get it to the places that it needs to go.
And we decided to sponsor Foodlink yet again this year, mainly because it's just been such a terrific partnership. I was fortunate enough to meet Deanne. Ever since meeting her, she educated me on food, expiration dates, how the shelf life extends well beyond when many cans state. And in doing so, she helped us be an integral part in us having our first annual food drive.
So if you look at these boxes over here, these are our recipient agencies. And the food that you see in front, that is rescued food.
So many of my clients have benefited from the Foodlink. By rescuing the work, we have been able to provide this food through food pantry as well as the other resources, and I've been able to get some food on short notice for my clients who might not have a food.
Foodlink makes a big impact on our organization. Most of the food that goes into our dinners comes from Foodlink. It's all repurposed food, and it makes a big difference in our costs, as well as having wonderful, wonderful meals and flowers on the table every week.
And this all started with us way back when Foodlink first started, when Julie and Deanne were brand new, working out of their garage and dropping off food either into my car. My husband would say, the food fairies are here again, now I'm dropping food into your car. I mean, to watch how far this program has grown and evolved and how many more people are being helped by this is just, it's wonderful to be part of, and I can't thank you enough.
The relationship between Foodlink and Bunker Hill remains strong. Dr. Pam Ettinger, president of Bunker Hill, gave the keynote address.
What I did not know until 5 years ago was that there was hunger on my campus and there's homelessness on my campus. In my mind, that problem of hunger never existed. And I can tell you, there are 1,200 community colleges across the nation, and very few of them have the knowledge that their students are hungry. So I'm grateful for the donation and the services that all the Foodlinks render to my students, which means our students can come in and have something solid in their stomach before they go to their first class. The fact that you have to do this is one of the shades of our nation. And I also found out a little bit later, the reason my students drop out is meals most of the time. It is not that they can't learn it. It is because they have basic needs in their lives, like food, housing, transportation, and childcare.
Just last week, we had a student who was in the office, and she said one of her great concerns was how she was going to manage to eat while she's at the college. And to see that we had food there, one of the other workers brought her to us, and she wrote an extremely thankful letter saying, now I can come to college and eat at the same time, and that was my biggest worry.
Foodlink continues to grow, and in 2018 it expects that it will rescue 500,000 pounds of food and move into new headquarters funded by a capital campaign. But what really makes Foodlink run is its 140 dedicated volunteers that work 150 hours each week.
It just feels like my contribution goes so far when I spend an hour for Foodlink. It really makes a difference in so many ways.
What surprised me the most is the amount of food that we're able to save and redistribute to other places like the food pantry and other places around, like, around the community.
Well, we like being able to do things together. So Foodlink gives the opportunity for us to spend a little time after school doing some good work in the community as a family.
I think most people are unaware of the fact that throwing food out is such a problem, so that what we do here by saving it is fabulous. As I say, it's a win-win.
Wow, can't believe they've been around for that long now. Well, kudos to Foodlink. They're always looking for more volunteers. If you'd like to find out more or get involved, visit foodlinkma.org.
Arlington High School nurse Sarah Botley had an idea. She teamed up with the Interact and Do Something Club to bring it to life. Now, AHS students can shop for coats, boots, workout clothes, and jeans right in the nurse's office. Arlington Public News reporter Reese Steffen brings us the story.
Oh yeah, it's so nice. Over the last 10 years that I've worked here, the need has come up for students, and it can be anything from a student who forgot their gym clothes to a student who needs a winter coat. And it sort of evolved from there.
And the dean reached out to me with the idea of creating like a school closet where kids can go and get clothes. And she asked if our club would be interested in helping. And I thought that seemed like a really good idea because we have a lot of members who are really interested in community service and helping others.
I've been putting t-shirts here, like stacking them up right here. We made sort of an all call to everyone in the school, staff and students, and asked for donations. And they actually did, it was a little homeroom contest. So whatever homeroom could collect the most bags of clothes. And we got a lot of donations. I'd like to see Ponder Threads be in all the schools and have access for our middle school kids and elementary school, at the high school.
We make sure everything is of really good quality. And Mr. Tassoni in the wood shop helped us make this clothing rack. Yep. And it has space for shoes on the bottom. And also with the art teacher, I made this sign, Ponder Threads, so it would feel like a store. And when kids come in here, they can choose, and it will be a fun experience for them.
Absolutely, and it can be private. This is a private room, so if somebody wants privacy to pick out clothes, we can do that. But I've had some shoppers have a lot of fun coming in with friends, especially after school, trying on different things. So Ponder Threads is something that we're doing here with the Interact Club, and we're setting it up with donations directly from our school and community. The food closet has actually a generous donation from Arlington Eats, who have helped us establish a closet here where we have things for kids to eat during the day and food that they could take home on the weekends or after school for meals. We have kids that maybe even have the short-term food insecurity. So a parent is sick and can't get to the grocery store and there's nothing to make for lunch that day, or we're waiting for the paycheck to come into the account on Friday, and then my mom's going to go shopping. So these aren't necessarily kids who are always food insecure or have long-lasting issues at home. They can be short-term problems that we're trying to help them through. So we make no determination on need. It is open to everyone, and that and same for our Ponder threads. Any student has access to that. And yes, I've had a lot of kids who are coming in to shop for clothes and jackets and a meal sometimes.
Ponder Threads is currently looking for winter outerwear, and there's always a need for athletic wear. Personal hygiene products have recently been added to the closet. If you have a donation for Ponder Threads, contact Nurse Lee at sbotlee@arlington.k12.ma.us.
So great to hear of all of these wonderful programs for people in need. And I understand that this Threads is right near the sponsored Arlington Eats, which is also in every school for children who need snacks and other meals.
Yep, just another part of what makes this an excellent community for us all to be living in.
Well, a local filmmaker's intimate look at life on the street.
That and more, yet again, when we come back.
If you live in one of the 22 communities that appear on your screen now, you likely belong to the Mystic River watershed. This vital resource is a natural living system that we all share. Since 1972, the Mystic River Watershed Association has successfully fought to protect and restore this treasure. Now I'm asking you to join that effort. Please go to mysticriver.org to become a member and to find out how you can help today.
According to the 2017 Boston Homeless Census, there are approximately 6,300 people living on the streets of the city. Without a home, they often become nameless and faceless to others. Arlington resident and documentary filmmaker John Baynard is committed to telling their stories. ACMi is airing his latest documentary, Where Did You Sleep Last Night? Here is a look at the film and the filmmaker.
I want to know their stories, and I want to listen, and I think I think their stories are important for everybody to hear, because they don't, they're kind of nameless, and they're certainly voiceless, and it shouldn't be that way. I don't know how to solve the problems, but I think if people knew more about it, maybe somebody smarter than me can figure that out. But I just think, these stories should be told.
I've been called a chronic alcoholic, a drunk, a bum.
In 1994, I was doing a story on the Boston Common, and I met a homeless guy there, Bert Lewis. He told me he was the mayor of Boston Common. He became a sort of a central part of this feature story I was doing on Boston Common. And a couple months later, I was walking through the Common and saw him, and he had sort of transformed himself. He had detoxed, he was off alcohol, and he was at the veteran shelter working as a security guard. And it was like this amazing transformation. And then I just, there were just all these stories out there that I felt like people didn't hear about.
We're a couple. We take care of each other. He takes care of me, I take care of him. We have a bond that we stay together.
Louie and Donna, I met them, I did a documentary for WGBH, and they were one of the stories I told, and they lived at the corner of Melina Cass Boulevard and Mass Ave in a tent. And so by the end of the documentary, they were off the street and trying to make it in New Hampshire where her family lived. And they had a lot of struggles and a lot of ups and downs, and they would take one step forward and then 2 steps back. And so I followed them over the course of 4.5 years through all kinds of stuff. And that was the story. It was, Louie and Donna.
I'm dying to get my own place, dying to live normal. I'm dying that I don't have to wake up the crack of dawn and look for a bathroom to go to or somewhere to wash up.
With Jean Day, I met her at the McGinnis House, which is the Boston's Healthcare for the Homeless respite. And I was there just meeting and talking with people. And, you know, because I have continued to cover and tell stories from the streets since I met Bert Lewis. And so I talked with Jean, who was in there, had gone through detox for alcohol, and she was really articulate. And so I came back and talked to her again, and then, you know, she told me where she hung out on the street, where she lived on the street, and I started to follow her and to talk to her and to tell her story. And she, you know, for someone to open up their lives to you, and to open up their lives, lives that are fractured, and there's a lot of mess to it, is an incredibly brave thing. And then, you know, she got a place, and you know, and when you get a place, it's not everything is rainbows and unicorns. It's you know, you still have to work on things. And so she continues to work on things, along with Angela. They're still together, her boyfriend.
Hey, I never said I was beautiful. I know I got a heart of gold.
I've been searching for a heart of gold. And I'm getting old.
No, we're very happy. Happy, happy.
Joy, joy.
Joy, joy. We even danced a couple of times.
Yeah, we have. Two goofballs.
The only arguments we got is about her drinking, that's it.
There you go. Because I guess I changed my personality when I drink.
She does. Total different person.
Well, I do drink, I'm not going to lie. But not like I drank, you know? And hopefully that will come to, I don't know if it will ever come to a complete stop, but it's gonna slow down more and more. When
I'm trying to tell someone's story, I want the story to sort of dictate how it's told. And that's number one. And number two is just to listen to people. So maybe that allows for more stillness to it. Because I'm not, you know, I don't ask them to do anything. All I'm doing is just, can I be with you? And you know, in certain times, can we talk? But that's, you know, I'm just sort of in the sidecar of their life, you know, moving along, and whatever happens, happens, and I try to keep up.
You can watch the entire documentary, Where Did You Sleep Last Night?, with an extended interview with John Boehnert here on ACMi. Check your local cable listings for times or find it at acmi.tv.
Well, that's our show for tonight. In 2 weeks, it's the year in review. We'll look back at some of the stories from 2017 and what they may mean in the coming year. Can't believe we're already at that point.
We really are. And you can check out all our latest segments and newscasts on the web at acmi.tv/news. And don't forget to like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter at Arlington Public.
And if you'd like to be a part of Arlington Public News and ACMi, email us at news@acmi.tv or stop by the studio at 85 Park Ave. I'm Brenda Mahoney.
And I'm James Milan. Thanks for joining us, and happy holidays.
Enjoy this little look at Santa visiting ACMi. Good night.
Dashing through the snow in a one-horse open sleigh. If you know, sing along. O'er the fields we go, laughing all the way. Bells on bobtail ring, making spirits bright. What fun it is to laugh and sing a sleighing song tonight. Oh, jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride in a one-horse open sleigh. Jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride in a one-horse open sleigh. Very good.